Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you so much for watching the Once an Orphan podcast. If you are new here, we initially started talking about adoption because that is how my life started. In this process of speaking about adoption, what I learned is that so many of us have a story to tell. Many of us are no longer walking in shame. We are gladly and openly and transparently telling our stories. And I am so thankful for everyone that I've spoken to in the past. Presently, we have Josh, and certainly in the future. Josh is joining me today. If you don't know Josh, his Instagram handle is on the screen, and we are going to learn a lot more about Josh because you really just have to follow him to know his story. So thank you, Josh. Josh, you are amazing. As I just told you, you are in your community changing lives one cut at a time. And for those of you who don't know Josh, who are new to finding out who this young handsome first of all, let me just go ahead and say he is a lot older than what you think he is. I'm not gonna say your age, but I thought he was a baby. And when he told me he was 30 something, I was like, I know you lying. I was like, are you sure you know how old you are? Because I seriously was like, you lying. But anyway, Josh, you are changing lives one cut at a time in your community. So, Josh, where is your community? Where do you do the work that you do?
Yeah, so first thing first, thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate you giving me the opportunity and opening up your platform for me, seriously. So I truly appreciate that. As far as the work that I do, so I travel the country doing this work, but mainly I'm in Philadelphia, the Kensington section of Philadelphia. So mainly when I'm not in certain places around, wherever else, I'm located in the Kensington section of Philadelphia. Yes.
Philly. So, I don't know much about Philly, but I do
Yeah.
know that in this particular section of Philly, there's a lot of poverty,
Yes.
homelessness, crime, drug use, all of that. And when I say you're changing lives one cut at a time, when they go into your tent and come
Yeah.
out, they really do look like a completely changed person. And this is the
Sure.
reason why I like to say one cut at a time, because you'll be surprised how much a haircut could change someone's life. When you look good, you feel good. And you are serving underprivileged communities where they do not have the funds to get a haircut. Now you're all over.
Yes. So I went to school. I went to barber school in Wilmington, Delaware. So that's really where everything started for me in Wilmington, Delaware. And um I would come to a shelter in Philadelphia to provide free haircuts in Philadelphia for the school because my barber instructor, he used to take the whole class to shelters. That's how I learned how to cut hair. And me being able to provide a free haircut to someone meant more to me than to actually receive money for it. So,
This is definitely a profitable business,
yes.
especially the cuts that you provide. Because when my husband goes to get a haircut, they're up to like $45 and $50 now. And you are doing this for free.
Yes.
Even for me, when I look at it on Instagram, I'm like, who went in the tent and who came out? Because
Yeah.
they don't look like the same person. So that really does speak to the work that you do. And looking at your hairline, baby, okay, I can tell you got that all under control. Um, but Josh, what was your why?
Well, I think for me, honestly, in 2014, before I enrolled into barber school, I was just getting out of jail. I got out of jail July, enrolled into barber school August, started barber school September of 2014. And when I came home in 2014, I just told myself, let me do something right for the first time, which is when I enrolled into barber school. Prior to that, I've been in and out of jail since the age of 12 all the way to 24 as a juvenile in juvenile detention centers back to back to back, disciplinary schools back to back. When I turned 18, it rolled over to the adult system. And anybody that's ever been locked up know that once you get on probation, it's extremely difficult to get off, especially when you're living a certain lifestyle. And when I turned 24 and I came home, when I enrolled into barber school, and the things that my barber instructor used to instill in us while we were in barber school, that changed my entire perspective of life, to be honest with you. You know, when I had the opportunity to hop on a plane and travel to Sacramento, California, that was my first time ever on an airplane. Never been on an airplane prior to that. And I just noticed that homelessness didn't just reside in Philadelphia, it was everywhere else. It's crazy because I remember at one point in time when I first started providing free haircuts, I used to always ask these individuals certain questions. But I would ask them these questions because I never had no knowledge of addiction at all. I smoked weed one time in my life. I never smoked after that. I drunk one time in my life, threw up everywhere, never drunk after that, never smoked after that, none of that. So I only did that one time. I never could really relate to addiction. But my mom has been a full blown addict way longer than I was even born, to be honest with you. And I would ask these individuals certain questions because I couldn't ask her the questions, you know?
Yeah.
So I would ask them the questions to get some type of comfort or to see if they can answer the question for me. And it was just bringing a lot of closure. And then I noticed that, you know what, like it's not even my mom, it's the drugs. You know, that's what it is. It's not my mom, it's the drugs. And yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned mom, and of
It's a,
course, I just shared with you that my birth mother was severely in addiction.
mm-hmm,
And that's where we connect, right? Because
for sure.
I also see that not only are you serving the community, but you are doing this, changing lives one cut at a time,
Yeah.
but also being there for your mother, whose
Yeah.
side you never left.
Yeah.
You're so open, you're so transparent. You are showing us what she's like in the moment of addiction. You are loving on her openly in a
Yeah.
state of addiction. And now, oh, now, we are more than 100 days sober, right?
Yes, it's 297, 298,
Oh my
basically
God.
300 days.
Listen, you don't
Yeah,
understand. You understand, but
for
some of
sure.
you may not understand why that's so important. Josh has never left his mother's side all the time she was in addiction, even being incarcerated, starting being in juvenile homes at the age of 12, all the way through 18. And then, I mean, it just continued to go on until you were 24 years old. So you had to take a whole lot on yourself. You've
For
had to
sure.
make the decision to be there by your mom and also give back to the community. What is that like when you are doing both? I'm here with mom, I'm also helping the community. That's a lot on you for you to be as young as you are, even though you look younger. But that's what is that like?
See, so the thing here is that me and my mom never really had a relationship because she was never a part of my life. My mom, the first time my mom ever did a drug was with my dad. First time she ever did a drug. My dad my dad got her high for the first time. And he's always been a functional addict. The thing is that the first time that she ever tried it, she couldn't function without it. So she was a full blown addict from the very beginning. Um, I have two older siblings. When I was born, I was technically a crack baby, you know, and I would see my mom from time to time, but I never really understood until I got older why she was never around, you know?
Yeah.
And again, like during addiction, I would see her from time to time. We just were never really close because she was doing her own thing and I didn't understand it. And again, it took for me to do the work that I'm doing now in order for me to forgive her and for me to have a better understanding. So now everything is amazing now, right? Like she tried to get clean before in the past. I did help her into a program, which is the same program that she's in now. Previously, I helped her. This is like 2 years ago. I did help her. But the thing is that that program did not have a long term they didn't have long term, it was just short term. So then they would do long term at that facility and ship everybody out to long term, which was in Philly. And knowing my mom, she can't come back to Philly,
Right.
because she knows Philly like the back of her hand. To this day, she's been where she's at now in the facility that she's in now. She's been there since January. She has not been to Philly not one time. She gets her monthly passes, and instead of her coming to Philadelphia, she goes to my sister house, which is outside of Philadelphia, and we visit her at my sister house because she don't trust herself coming to Philadelphia at all. She don't want to come to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Um, First of all, I want to say big, 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 huge congratulations to your mother because that does take a lot of work. And for you to be the age you are, you said she started very early in your life, like when you were
Yes.
before you were born, or maybe,
Probably
give or
more.
take. Yeah.
For sure.
So that puts her in addiction for several years, more than 3 decades.
40, yeah, no, close to 40 years for sure.
This is the reason why I enjoy talking about these topics. One, we get to connect. One, two, I see that you are alongside your mom, helping her in sobriety. But more
Yeah,
importantly, everything comes full circle because had your mom been your father, you would be serving her in the same way you serve the homeless community. Because what you said was that you see that a lot of these men that you serve, they also battle drug addiction,
for
correct?
sure.
And
For sure.
so now you're able to engage with them in a very intimate setting because, when someone is touching your head and, you have the clippers
Mhm.
to their heads, y'all really can engage in conversation. You're
For sure.
able to learn what was it like? What was the thing that made you take that first hit or smoke that first or have that first drink? Like, what was it for you to have that first? And how hard was it for you to fight that? Because now you get to understand what it was your mother dealt with.
Yeah. Um, I feel like everybody that I service, to be honest with you, I call them like they're like my family.
Yeah.
When I was just it's crazy because when I was just in Atlanta not too long ago, probably a few weeks ago, this guy he said something along the lines of I don't he said something along the lines of I don't make friends, I make family. And when he said that, it gave me goosebumps because he's completely right. Like everybody that I service, I don't look at them like friends. I look at them like their family. These are individuals that have my personal numbers. These are individuals that, if they need to call me 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, they could call me because they might be ready to get inside of a treatment facility. So at that moment, I'm up and out. I'm driving down to Kensington to go pick them up, making phone calls, trying to get these individuals placed at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning at times. So it's like when it comes to the social media aspect, people see the haircuts,
Yeah.
but the haircut aspect of what I provide as far as the service is probably like 15%,
Right.
20% of what I'm doing every single day. Again, the most important thing that I do is create relationships by having these deep conversations with these individuals and getting to know them for who they are. If you ever notice, every single body that I post, if you look at them comments, and sometimes it could be 2,000, 3,000 comments. If
Easily.
you shuffle through them comments, you'll always find a family member of the individual that I post every single time. So now is it me in talks with the family? All right, cool. Listen, I know that he's not ready right now, but I want you to know, just to give you some type of comfort, that every single time that I see him, I'm gonna let you know that I saw him and that he's okay. So it could give you some type of comfort in your heart that he's at least alive. Because a lot of times when you're dealing with somebody that's battling addiction and they're in the streets, sometimes it's difficult to go to sleep at night. Sometimes I wish the cops pick that person up because that person is on a run, and I'd rather that person be in jail than me get a phone call of that person overdosing, probably dead, or.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because here in Philadelphia is different here because our number one drug in the Kensington section is heroin. But heroin isn't heroin no more, right? Heroin is fentanyl, right? And even with the fentanyl crisis, it's not even fentanyl no more. Now it's tranquilizer. So now it's rhino trink and horse trink that's getting mixed into these drugs. So you get an individual that'll do a bag of dope and they're sleep instantly. So that's when you see all the dozing off and you
Mm.
see somebody laying down. That drug never did that. Ever did that. Never. That wasn't that it never did that. But now it's doing that because you mixing it with a tranquilizer, a horse tranquilizer, or a rhino tranquilizer that's meant for to put them big animals to sleep, you know? So
Exactly.
it's just crazy because like again, like it
Listen,
in Philadelphia is different. Like I'll cut somebody and in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that individual is rolling around in a wheelchair because they had to get both of their legs amputated.
oh my God.
So
And,
it's just so bad here, you know?
yeah, and to your point, as I stated earlier, I'm not familiar with, the parts of Philadelphia, but I
Yeah.
do know that Kensington is very high in drug use, homelessness, prostitution. I
Yes.
mean, everything that many of us don't want to be a part of is rampant in the Kensington section. And you're the most in the part of where you're serving the community. A lot of people will be like, "This is the part I don't even want to go over there. I want to stay out of there."
For
And
sure.
I'm staying as far as away from there that I possibly
Hmm.
can because you already know the crime rate, the drugs, the this, the that.
Hmm.
It's unsafe, right? And here you are, front and center, bold. I'm not scared. This is where my family is. Well, who's your family? My mother, who's now sober. This gentleman who's still fighting drugs. This gentleman who's still fighting drugs. This gentleman. This is my family. And when you say that, many people like myself, I'll be like, wow. But see, the thing is, as an adoptee, I know that blood doesn't make you family. And you are showing that in the work that you do because now these people have a resource.
Hmm.
Now they can say, let me call Josh. And like you said, outside of the cuts, which is just a small part of the work you do, you're up in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
That's the part we don't see, trying to help these men get clean. And like you said, I've seen in the comments, oh, that's my cousin. Oh, we haven't seen him in so long.
Yeah.
Where is he? What, how is the, I've seen those comments, I really have. And so um I'm always stuck at the separation between the person who's now addicted and their actual biological family, because the moment that relationship is severed, your family who's clean and sober, they would absolutely be like, I'm done. I don't have anything to do with them. They chose to use drugs. And here you are, their saving grace, coming back to say, no, you do have somebody. And you're
For
just
sure.
one person, and here you are serving an entire community.
See, so the thing about me, because you mentioned me being in a very dangerous environment, providing these services and making people feel good about themselves in the middle of the trenches. For me, honestly, everybody in the neighborhood makes sure that I'm okay.
Right. Of
From the
course.
neighbors,
Mhm.
from the drug dealers, from the homeless community, from individuals that just love what I do that only see me on social media. Sometimes it's difficult for me to do one haircut because I got so many individuals that's just driving by that want to get out, that want to take pictures. Yo, I follow you on Instagram. I love everything that you're doing. And that's like happening every 5 minutes. 5 minutes, people pulling up, pulling up, and pulling up, pulling up. And it feels good because I know that I'm doing something great.
Yep.
But again, I do it because I love what I do. I love being able to make someone feel good about themselves. I love being able to provide a service to someone that they'll never forget.
Yeah.
I say it all the time, like, yes, the haircut is cool, but having somebody, at their lowest moment, give them a haircut. In the midst of giving them a haircut, let them shampoo their hair, clean their scalp. Afterwards, finish the haircut, put them inside of a changing tent. Give them brand new clothes, brand new socks, brand new underwears, white beaters, and some fly kicks. And every single time they come out of that tent, that's probably my that's probably like I don't want to say like the best thing, but I just love every time that they come out of that tent because they feel so good about themselves, and when they walk off every single time, it's just like damn, like
Yeah.
I wish that I could do more, but I also understand that because of addiction, you can't force anyone to want to get clean. They gotta want the help whenever they ready. I know that they'll reach out, so
Absolutely. And see, that's the thing about it. What you do is not little work. What you do is not small work. What you do should be recognized because the thing
for sure.
about it, what I notice is that most of the time when these men come out of this tent, they don't look like they're addicted to drugs. They
Yeah.
don't look homeless. And like I said, when you look good, you feel good. That might
Yes.
be the thing that make them say, "Oh my God, I like this. Let me get my life
Yeah.
together." And it's not
I
anything that's
agree.
going to happen overnight. But if they like how they look and if they feel that confidence, that could be the turning point for them. It really can't take anything. And you're doing that. I mean, because I'm looking at people walk inside the tent, heads held low, clothes, not clean. They're not, together. They come out of these tents wearing the biggest smiles that you would ever see a homeless person wear. Because honestly speaking, where I grew up, between Long Island and New York City, I've never seen too many homeless people smile. And I'm just going to
Yeah.
be honest. But you're putting smiles on their faces. And I mean, they are, it's not like they just look like a changed person, but they are a
Yeah.
changed person, even if it's just in that moment. They
Hmm.
are a changed person. Why? Because they had a conversation with someone in a tent who was able to groom them in this short amount of time. You started to say earlier, Josh, that one of the questions they like to hear is, "How was your day?" Was that? Let's go back.
Something. Yeah. So something as simple as me asking them, "Hey, how you feeling today? How's your day going so far?" Something so simple like that always makes them feel so good because nobody asks them that, you know?
Yeah.
Or something as simple as me remembering their names. So every time I see somebody, I'm like, yo, Ayo Reek. They'll
Mhm.
look back like, bro, who's calling me? Because nobody be knowing their name. And it's been like that for years and
Yeah.
years and years. I always say all the time, panhandling for somebody that's homeless is the most difficult job that you could possibly imagine
Of course.
because you have to deal with people dehumanizing you, treating you like you're nothing,
Mhm.
spitting, throwing
Mhm.
stuff at you, disrespecting you, calling you out of your name, all of this stuff. And it's just like, man, I like, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, for me, honestly, like, it's just like, I wish that I could just, in a snap of a finger, just like, help everybody out to the best of my ability, especially the individuals that I service. Um, but a lot of them, like, it's like, when you hear these stories and you hear that they don't have anyone because they probably burnt all of their bridges,
Right.
or you having a conversation with one of them and they telling you, listen, the first time that I ever got high was at the age of 8 years old, and the first person that ever got me high was my dad, and stuff like that. It's just like, this person never had a chance at life.
Right.
But then you get individuals that come to the Kensington section of Philadelphia because we have one of the largest homeless populations due to the open drug market in the Kensington section. And we have a huge train line. So we have people pouring in from everywhere. got people from Virginia, we got people from Baltimore, we got people from all these places because all you gotta do is hop on a train and the train will leave you directly in Kensington, you know? So
Mhm.
it's just like,
These are the stories that we miss. These are the stories that we don't hear. And um even in Atlanta, right? If you go
yeah,
downtown Atlanta,
I
you're going to
was
see
just in
some,
Atlanta.
right? You're going
Yeah.
to see some things. You are going to see homelessness,
Mm-hmm.
prostitution, drug
Yes.
addicts. You're going to see all of that. And the thing about it is, as a parent, you want to show your kids what to look out for. You want to show your
Yes.
kids, like, this is why we don't do drugs. This is why
Yes.
you don't drink, you don't smoke. This is why, because none of these people woke up and said, today I'm going to get as high as a kite, become a homeless person, lose my family, lose my wife, my husband, my
Yep.
kids. And nobody woke up with that thought.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
I agree.
Nobody wakes up with that thought. But what happened? Life.
Yep.
Could, like you said, somebody at 8 years old first getting high with their father. This is a person who had no chance at life. And it's not just men, it's women, which you and I both know. It was my birth mother, it's your mother. And my husband, he has no empathy when it comes to people who are selling these drugs,
Yep.
because you are killing communities, right? You are separating parents from their children. You are separating parents from their grandchildren. You are doing so much damage and you're profiting off of it. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, do you care at all? Do you have a heart at all? When you said you're speaking with people who said, my first time getting high was 8 years old. 8 years old, you're typically in second, third grade.
Mm-hmm.
You have not learned to fully read, write. You don't know how to conjugate a verb. You don't even know how to do two-step multiplication. But
Yeah.
now you're introduced to drugs. What was one of the most heartfelt stories you've heard, Josh, as it relates to some of the people you helped out and when they started using drugs?
That's that's extremely difficult because to be honest, um,
Uh, I
it's
mean,
difficult for me to answer that because I hear different stories every single day. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
different stories every single day. But we can talk about some good ones. So we talk about some good ones. So
Let's
yeah,
please.
one of my close friends, his name is Bilal. Bilal. The first time that I ever met Bilal was in Kensington. I had the opportunity to give him a haircut. I gave him a haircut. Um, he started bawling, crying his eyes out while I was giving him a haircut. And he said, "Bro, I don't think you understand how much this means to me." And we were talking, and he was just saying, "Bro, just yesterday, I felt like I really wanted to commit suicide yesterday." After the haircut, we spoke about life in general. I gave him my number. We stood locked in the entire time. He ended up getting clean. Was clean for like a year. Got a great job. Had a great job. Brought a Lexus. Had a lot of stuff going on for himself. He ended up relapsing. Lost it all. Got clean again for a few months. Relapsed. Lost it all. Got clean again. And ever since then, he's been clean. So Bilal's probably been clean now. Mm, Probably close to a year now.
Okay.
He's working at Penn Hospital now. He's doing amazing things now. He created a program. He's just doing so many great things now. And that's like one of my best friends. Like that's somebody I'll call right now. You
Yeah.
know? And that's a relationship that I created
Yeah.
out there. Somebody that I provided a haircut for. Somebody else, her name is Megan. So during the beginning of Empowering Cuts, I was doing Uber in order for Uber to fund the entire mission until 2020. That's when I turned it into an official nonprofit organization in 2020. But prior to that, I was doing Uber. And when I was doing Uber one night, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the 95, which is a highway. in Philadelphia, 95 highway, and I'm driving and it's raining really hard, and I see somebody walking on 95, and it looks like they have a bunch of coats and stuff over their body. So I end up pulling over, because if I don't pull over, nobody else is gonna pull over.
Right.
I pull over, and there's a lady underneath all of the coats, and she's trying to walk from the Aramingo exit all the way up to Street Road, which is Benselm. There's no way possible that this lady was gonna make it. There's a possibility that she could have got hit. There's a possibility that she would have died on that highway trying to get to where she had to go. I told her to get in the car. I told her about what I do. I travel, provide free haircuts. My name is Josh. Dropped her off where she was going. A year later, I received a message on Facebook, and I'm barely on Facebook at this time.
Right.
I received a message on Facebook, and the message is, "Hey, do you remember the lady that you dropped off a year ago?" I'm like, "Yes, I do. Is she okay?" The person said, "Yeah, it's me. I'm Megan." When I looked at the profile picture and then I looked at her previous photos, I couldn't believe it, because I remember the person that I saw in my back seat. So seeing her the way that she looked, I'm like, bro, that is crazy. So now Megan's been clean for X amount of time. I believe she's married now. I believe she had a baby now. She has a nonprofit organization going inside the same community, giving back to that community by helping them with food and a bunch of other stuff that she does for that community. But she services the same community that she once was at, getting high at one point in time. So that's just two of the stories, but I have multiple stories, right? Like, one of my biggest accomplishments up to date, and I say it all the time, regardless of all the awards that I got, regardless of me wanting to raise $20,000 for the mobile barbershop and surpass that and raised over $120,000, regardless of all of the social media followers, all of that stuff, that's huge. That's all huge. But my biggest accomplishment was me getting my mom clean.
Yes. Yes. And I absolutely want us to put focus on that, because you did it while servicing the community she was a part of.
Bro, I
And
just like look, I just had my mom. I just had a speaking engagement on Monday at a school, at a high school. I invited my mom just so she could be there, and she was there. You know,
I
my
saw
mom,
that. It
my
was
yeah,
you
my
and another
yeah,
young lady.
yes, yes. Me and Dana, yeah, I work really. Dana works very close with Empowering Cuts for sure. Um, I was on the phone with my mom yesterday, and she was like, "Yo, you know it's crazy." I'm like, "What's up?" She was like, "Well, I didn't have work today because she works on campus now. I didn't have work today, but since someone took off, they asked me if I wanted to take if I wanted to take her spot, and I said yes. So I'm at work right now, but I just wanted to call you to let you know that I got my first paycheck today." I said, "Your first paycheck?" She said, "Yes, my first paycheck in my entire life."
Oh my God.
Because my mom never worked before. So she just received her first paycheck. Everything that I'm doing with her is her first time ever doing it. Took her bowling. That's her first time. Took her to an arcade. That was her first time. We brought her a baby doll. That was her first baby doll. Um, she she went swimming. That was her first time ever going swimming.
Mm.
Um, Everything that we're doing with her is her first time ever doing it, because she never experienced that. Again, she's been getting high for so long, and it's just, it feels great to have her back in my life, you know. And I'm not gonna say back because she was never a part of my life, but it feels great to just have her, you know. Like, bro, I brought her first iPhone. I just got her first iPhone. She never had an iPhone before. I don't even think she know how to fully work her phone, you know.
Right.
But something as simple as me being able to FaceTime her so I could look at her face and make sure she's okay, or her knowing that she could depend on me for whatever it is, and she has it. Support for anybody that's going through addiction is the most important thing that you could give someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the most important thing, which is why I feel as though I'm so big on being there for the individuals that I service the way that I am, because I know that if you guys feel like y'all can't depend on anyone else, I want you guys to know that I'm here. When you guys go inside of this facility, I need y'all to put me on this emergency contact. Because if
Right.
y'all don't put me on this emergency contact, by law through HIPAA, I'm not going to be able to call up there and check on y'all to see if y'all okay. So I need y'all to put me on that emergency contact every single time so I could call up there and be like, yo, he's still there? Yo, you need some
Yeah.
clothes, you need hygiene stuff. What do you need?
Right. Right.
Because I don't need you to come up with no excuse on why you need to leave.
Right. Right.
You know, so yeah,
And that's the thing. If you're the only support they have, they'll appreciate that. All I have is Josh, but I know he's there for me. Even if Josh says, "Hey, maybe not today. I'm out of town today, but I'll get there tomorrow." That's enough for them because they know Josh is coming. When you started to bond, um, I wanted to say bond again, but when you started to bond with your mom, of course, you've always been there for her,
for
but
sure.
watching her go from being, taking it one day at a time, step by step, when she finally had a clear head, the
Yes.
two of you had to have some sort of conversation. What was that like?
Um, to be honest, I always asked her. I feel like every time me and her have deep conversations, it always goes back to certain questions that I have about my upbringing.
Of course.
And there's certain questions about my upbringing because for I don't ever want for anything to be misconstrued. I don't ever want for my dad to feel some type of way because my dad did see a video not too long ago and he felt some type of way. But as I told my dad, if I'm telling a lie, please tell me so I could correct that.
Mhm.
But he couldn't say anything after I said that because he knows that it wasn't a lie. So you want me to sit up here and I get interviewed by this podcast and that podcast, and something as simple as me always saying, well, the first time that my mom ever got high was with my dad. If that's a lie, please say that. I
Right.
need you to say that, because I need to go back to her and tell, like I need you to say that if that's a lie. But if this is not a lie, then why do you feel some type of way about me speaking on it? You know?
Did he raise you?
Um, my dad raised me. Yes, he did.
Okay.
But my dad was always a functional addict, right? So
Right.
he could have the car, the house, and
Mhm.
do for us and buy us stuff and stuff like that. But he always just had an addiction. That's really it. And that's
Yeah.
still an addiction that exists to this day. That's not. He's still the same exact way. You know.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. Is he open though to getting the support that you give to the community, the support that you give your mom? Because
No, not at all. Because he's in denial.
gotcha.
You know how that go. It's so many people.
100%.
It's
Yes.
so many people that are functional addicts that are in denial
Yeah.
about their addiction,
Mhm.
um because they feel like they have control when in our reality they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have some sometimes you have some people that are functional addicts that are way worse than
Mhm.
someone that's a full-blown addict.
True.
I was just talking to my mom about this the other day,
Mhm.
you know
Yeah.
and it's just crazy. But I know for a fact he wouldn't be open to that, not at all, because
Yeah.
he's in denial.
Yeah. My husband and I grew up together, right? We come from the same town in Long Island, and
Okay.
I spent most of my time at the church because my mom just made sure we had church. So when my husband and I have conversations, he'll ask me, "Oh, you remember so and so?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, they used to get high all the time. They was a functioning addict, and so was a functioning addict." And
Yeah,
I'm like, because you didn't know because of how they covered it up. Still heavy
for
in
sure.
addiction. Still heavy in
Yes.
addiction. But you just had no idea. So we would see people. I would see one version of them, and he would see another version of them, and
Yep.
that just really does speak to the behaviors of a functioning addict because they can cover it up, and they can cover it up well. They can cover it up with the home and the house and the this and the that. all while before they go to bed at night, they got to take that hit, which will
Yeah,
likely change their behavior. And it really does. It's necessary for us to know that there are people who we could even work alongside of, day by day, and we don't know what they do at home or in their private lives because they function and they function well.
for
And
sure.
it's like now that you and your mom are building, the two of you can have a heart to heart. I know because even when I look at it, I know that there have been moments where you've been brought to tears because when I see the
Hmm.
videos, it brings me to tears. And now
Yeah,
you're able to really bond with your mom in a way that you've never done before. Really look at each other and say, I love you. Like, oh my God, you don't even know what that does to me. So, I
yeah.
mean, when I see that for you, especially at your young age and her being present but absent most of the time, bringing it back together again, how rewarding is that for you? I mean, it just does that not make you want to continue to do this each and every day?
It does. It does for sure. And to be honest with you, like, I think it just gives me more of a motivation to want to continue to keep on helping more people and be there by other people's side as much as I possibly can. As I said when we first started, like, I can't ever see myself doing anything else but this work that I'm doing. I can't see myself doing anything else, like nothing else. Like, yes, maybe on a bigger scale of me having a brick and mortar and a storefront so I could do stuff inside of this location. But as far as me providing haircuts on the street and me converse with these individuals and get to know them for who they are, this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life.
This is what we mean when we say be intentional. Josh, this is the work that Bilal, your mom, and Megan all put in being intentional was even meaningful for them because they had to do that and know what they wanted in order to come back to the other side. And so it's people like them that we overlook, but we can look at now and say it can be done. It's people
Yeah.
like you that are overlooked, who's changing lives, and that we can look at and say it can be done because even you, when you first started talking, you had some time in and out of the system starting at the age of 12.
12, yes.
But you made the change. Your mom made the change. Bilal and Megan made it. And I'm just gonna keep saying their names because and I don't know them. And y'all, I hope they see this, but shout out to y'all. And if you ever want to share your story, I'm more than happy to listen on this platform because we have to know what this is like. And there's another gentleman, I cannot think of his name right now. I want to say it's Quan something, but I could be wrong. He's also from Kensington. He might even be your age, and he suffered severely
Okay.
in drug addiction with his girlfriend.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Okay, I was gonna say you may or may not know who he is, but now in sobriety, he's also talking about addiction. And like you said, they're not. It's not even heroin anymore. And I've never used, oh gosh, any drugs. God no. I was again, like I said, I was raised in the church, right? My mom wasn't having it, but
Yeah.
it's not like it was in the 70s. Not that it was good then, but it's even worse now.
Yeah.
And we really have to be mindful of what it is that we are getting ourselves into. When they say that marijuana is the gateway drug, I really do believe it's trauma because for the life you changed when you were on of the 8-year-old, he was 8 being introduced to drugs. That's trauma. Your mom may have a story that she may have shared with you about what her life was like, which was probably easy for her to say
Yeah.
yes the first time, probably related to trauma. What Megan went through, what Bilal went through, all of that probably related to trauma. So we really have
Hmm.
to get to the root of these problems so that we can really be intentional about saving our lives and bringing us back to the community that we want to have in the community that we want to live in and raise our children in. Because
For
I
sure.
would love to let my kids out and go play, but we have to be mindful of what's out there because we don't have enough Joshes that are really changing lives one cut at a time. And who knew that a haircut could change a life? But now we see it and we see it front and center because, baby, you are absolutely doing the work. And I'm so thankful for you, your time. I'm thankful for you changing lives. big, big, big shout out to your mother. I mean, you don't understand what that's like for me because I can see how becoming clean takes a lot of work, and she did it. And more than 200, she's almost a year in. Hang in there, mama. Hang in there, mama. We love you. Yes, Jasmine, that stranger that Josh was talking to. Yes, I love you. And we really do have to talk more about these stories because now her story is going to help somebody else. Your
For
work
sure.
is going to help somebody else. And I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, listen, Liz, we could schedule another interview around the time when she gets a pass. You could probably ask her a few questions that you have. So
You know why I would love to do that, Josh? And I'm going to be completely honest with you. She may be able to answer questions that I never asked my birth mother.
mm,
And there were a lot of questions that I wanted to have answered that I never
yes,
asked. For one reason or another, I wasn't really sure how she would feel about the questions, but there's so much to that. And I would absolutely love to speak to your mom and let her know there is no judgment here, baby. None of us are perfect. So what? Maybe didn't have an addiction. Maybe I was an alcoholic. Maybe I was a prostitute. We all have a story. None of us are perfect. We are
for
not in
sure.
a position to judge each other. And I would absolutely love to meet her. I mean, even if she didn't want to come on this platform, but even if I could just have a phone conversation with her, I would love that too.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be amazing.
yes, and I would love that. So, Josh, thank you so much. Is there anything you want to share with us before I let you go?
Um, nah, I just want to thank you again for giving me the opportunity and lending your platform. Seriously, I truly appreciate it. And yeah, just thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks to you. And don't stop doing what you're doing. Hopefully someone else will be inspired by the work that you do. But we love to see it. And I know that's like a catchy term these days. We love to see, but we really do love to see it. And I just can't thank you enough because it really does mean a lot. So thank you. And if y'all are in the Kensington area, y'all will see Josh on the streets because he's continuing to do the work that many of us need to do. So thank you so much, Josh.
Thank you so much. Truly appreciate you.
Yes, sir.